I had the opportunity of working with a wonderful paranormal investigation team called Full Moon Paranormal right out of upstate New York. Now, this group is led by wonderful ladies that have a fantastic approach while investigating the paranormal. They tapped me and they said they assembled a group of investigators for the evening, and we were going to be going to the Montgomery, New York area, and we're going to investigate the Patchett house. The Patchett house is steeped in paranormal lore, folklore. This house dates back to the late 1700s, 1800s. It was a tavern, okay? It was a home for the Patchett family. And then it was also a funeral home where, believe it or not, supposedly the body of Tennessee Williams, famous playwright, was embalmed in the basement. To this day, there is still embalming equipment in the basement of the Patchett house. So you get that residual energy that's still attached to these instruments, that's still in that basement, in that foundation, that stone tape theory, right? So the Patchett house should, when you look at it, be an incredible place even before you step foot in it, because it has family history, okay? It has area historical significance, okay, from the 1800s, the industrial age of seeing the Montgomery area being built around it. And again, I'll reiterate that family history. So going into the Patchett house, we had a wonderful group of investigators, Timothy Dalton, the Full Moon Paranormal ladies. Also, they had a surprise guest. The surprise guest was no other than John Zaffis, demonologist, a huge legacy in the paranormal community. Everybody knows John Zaffis. And from his show Haunted Collector to all the other shows that he has worked on, the man is the myth, the legend at this point. So when he walked in, I was totally awestruck. I'm like, that's John Zaffis. It took me probably an hour to get my chin off the floor. But to have the opportunity to work with somebody like John was tremendous. And the man is just so gracious. So we get to the evening, right? And they ask me, Rich, what are you feeling? And it was freezing outside. And I said, I want to go out to that big tree that's right off the parking lot. I'm being drawn to it, and I feel child energy associated with that tree. So Robert Bandoff and his beautiful wife, Sandra, they wanted to document what I was picking up on. So Robert said, you know what? I'm going to go outside with Rich. We're going to see what we can pick up on by that tree. Sandra stayed inside. John Zaffis is inside with the entire group, and they're running a spirit box session inside the Patchett house. I go outside with Robert. Robert comes out with me. He has his EVP recorder, which is a DR60. And if any of you know, the DR60 is highly sought after in the paranormal field because it picks up spirit voice on the DR60 incredibly, okay? So we go out to the tree. I bring a sketch pad, and immediately I start sketching the child. And I felt he was a little boy. His hair was parted. I was saying I feel like he's more into the 1800s. And I feel him around the tree. And I said he's between the ages of 11 and 12. And as I'm sketching him, we're asking questions. Robert's asking questions, and we hear a loud thud, like something hit metal. We look around the parking lot, we see nothing. So Robert documented that in the video clip. And then we ask, how old are you? And it wasn't until we replayed the EVP, when we replayed the audio, we hear a clear 10. I was off by a year, okay? I said 11 or 12. The boy was 10. Now we go back into the Patchett house where that spirit box session is going on with John Zaffis and the Full Moon Paranormal group and Sandra. So we go in, and they said, you won't believe what just came through the radio. A child's voice says, I'm over by the tree. This is a really great example of how an investigation worked. Not only did we get the evidence outside, we got the audio, I got the sketch with my spirit art and mediumship. Then you combine what the group got inside through the Spirit Box radio session. That's 3 different points, okay, of validation. And it was an amazing piece of validation because John Zaffis pulled me aside while we were in the kitchen and he says, what you're doing is fantastic. And he was really impressed by the spirit art. So it meant so much to me that somebody like John Zaffis was able to experience spirit art in an investigation. And he had such gracious words. So when I walked out of the Patchett house, I'm like, this is going to be a story I'm going to have to tell through all my lectures and seminars, because this really shows you how an investigation worked, like I said, with those 3 points of validation. And when we walked out of there, there's definitely a child spirit that is attached to the outside, and especially around that tree.
I thought it was kind of weird.
When I say that, thinking like early 1900s, thinking it's a child.
Mm-hmm.
A male child. His hair is like parted. 2 sides. Say about 11, 12 years of age. Nothing like picking up like that. I think this was a tree that might have claimed 8 nights.
I was thinking that as well.
Like life was lived, you know, and this was like a joyful time.
It's a focal point of the property, a big tree. You know, if you're a kid, you're always going to be drawn to something like that, you know?
Yeah. Almost like mom's yelling to come in. A lot of adventures.
Let's see.
What was that?
I heard that.
Sounded like something banged into a car.
Definitely like the metal sound almost.
Yeah. Anybody here with us?
Three, two. Who is here with us?
Is there a child? Did you play on this tree?
I see your face there. Do you have a name?
How old are you?
We're going to head inside in a minute. Follow us in. It's nice and warm.
Thank you.
Ending session.
How old are you? How old are you? How old are you?